All right, welcome back to another episode of Unknown and Talented Behind the Scenes with Shana Janice and JelanAbrams. What's up, Jelan? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I like the new location. Oh, I'm sorry, we be messing up. These people that listen to audio, we're in a new location than we
We
were
are
last
in a new
time.
location. It took us a minute to get set up. We were looking for like our notebooks and all of our equipment. We are in a season of adjusting because we are homeowners. Pew, 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 pew. You have to make the noise because audio they can't see us. Pew, pew, boop, 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 boop.
Okay.
Hey, we are homeowners. So yes, we are getting settled, playing around with different setups in the house. So if you've watched the past episodes, you've seen us in my office. Today we are in the kitchen, Chateau Jelan. So welcome to our home. This is probably as close to our home as many of you will get, respectively, but welcome virtually to our home, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. And it's funny is that we really try to be secretive about stuff. Not really secretive, but I just don't like telling everybody all our business. I think it's the dynamic that we have is like I'm used to sharing everything. Like when I moved in my apartment, I'm sharing everything and you're more of low key. So I try
Y'all
to
don't pay my bills. Y'all don't need to know my business, respectively. So yeah, we
all
we move
right.
we move different. And now when y'all start paying the bills through this podcast, I might tell you everything. But until then, you'll know as needed. So yeah, but
Yeah. So like I said, this is our house. We've been in the house for 7 months now.
7 months now.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So that can tell you how secretive we've been. I don't think I'm posted it. I ain't posted anywhere. I ain't tell. I don't think I told my closest friends really that we got a house. But yeah, we got a house now.
Yeah. I told my closest friends. I just didn't tell y'all. Uh,
But yeah, we have a house, and this episode we want to talk about home ownership. I feel like that's the dream of everybody. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to get a house. You got to get a house." But we want to talk about basically the process of us even having that mindset to have a house, going into the process of finding that house, and then now having it. It's not as easy as it seems. But you just want to start off like, why did you want to get a house?
well, I think it's interesting because you spoke to the fact of like for many people that's a dream. Um, I feel like our generation too, like it's such an interesting dynamic around the value of home ownership, right? Like a lot of people want to be more mobile, they want to travel, they like getting rooted, planting roots there, having community, like building wealth and equity through home ownership isn't always top of mind. Um, and I think it's something that shouldn't be taken for granted because it is such a wealth establishing avenue. Even if you are purchasing a home and you have it as a property and maybe you're not there all the time, like you still want to have something that you fully own. Like the equity of it is just unparalleled to a lot of other ways to build equity. So for myself, I didn't realize that until I got into the mortgage industry. And I'm looking at the assets of people, I'm looking at the equity that they have, and I'm looking like, I need to start saving money because like I need to buy a home. I need to establish myself somewhere. I start thinking about like how much I'm paying in rent and sort of the long-term stint of that. And as much as it does give me flexibility, I'm really just tossing that money every month. And at the end of the day, all I'll get is maybe my deposit back, maybe, because I like to decorate, so I put holes all up in the wall. So at most, maybe I'll get my deposit back, and after that, it's just whatever new space. And so I wanted to really get rooted somewhere. So I think that's what sort of started turning the wheels of understanding the value of that space. What about you? How did that sort of start?
So me, I always had the dream of having a house, but it just took me longer to get there. So I didn't move out. I know I probably said multiple times. I didn't move out of my house, my parents' house, until I was 29, and then I got my apartment. And then, I was comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. The minute I moved out, I was definitely comfortable. But thinking about being financially free, it's like financial freedom comes with ownership. And I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to get a house. Because at first I was thinking about getting a house I have to leave my parents' house. And I was just like, I don't know. Because then I'm kind of stuck. So I kind of, and I want to hit that point too, is also like buying a house, being stuck. But I was like, let me just first find out an area I want to live in first, and then work up to being in a house.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it is a huge decision. I think we definitely want to like highlight all of the benefits, the blessings of home ownership. But it wasn't something we took lightly. So within our process, we did new construction. We looked at a lot of different parts of the city. It's funny because Lon used the word stuck. I used the word rooted, but it depends on your trajectory, right? Like for us, this was putting down roots for building our family, for, having a life here, for having family here, friends here, community here. But if it's not somewhere you want to be, then you will feel stuck. You'll feel like, I have this huge investment, and if I pull out of it too soon, I'm not even seeing equity from it, and so you're making really a loss in something that you probably spent a good, significant portion of money in. So you have to be thoughtful. We looked at a lot of different spaces, a lot of different layouts of homes. Have to decide that we want to do new construction, that we want to sort of be in like a bidding war with other people for existing homes, but none of
Hmm.
that really, felt good for us. I think I always knew I wanted. I always loved like the cute little neighborhoods and like, like the little picket fence. Like I always knew I wanted that. I wanted to be in a development. And yeah, so it was funny because now we're having these conversations because it's like, well, what kind of home like do you want? What does that look like? So yeah, that was me. I always knew cookie cutter, cute little house, cute little neighborhoods. Like, hi Susie, hi John. That was always what I wanted. What did that look like?
So first, I want to shout out my sister Amarel. She's a realtor, and she helped us find this house. I think the process was a lot smoother with her because I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what my credit looked like. Actually, I did. I kind of knew what my credit looked like, but I just didn't realize how close I was to getting a house. Like, the minute I was telling her that we were looking for a house, she said, "Okay, it's easy. Do this, do that, do that." And it's just like, man, I'm just like, I didn't realize, like, you're living in an apartment all this time and you don't realize that, like, getting a house, yes, you do have to have a down payment, but the main thing, if you have your credit and you have down payment, you're kind of good. I think people think it's a farther journey to get a house. But actually, talk about that as well before we get into the actual house. Talk about the preparation for getting a
Yeah.
house, because like I want to speak to the person that's right now in an apartment thinking they're way far away from having that ownership. Like, what does that preparation look like?
Yeah. So the thing is, there's a lot of really great first home buyer programs. So we looked at some of those with our income combined, and we weren't able to qualify for some of them, but there were still other things that we were able to do through our lender, that they were able to give us credits and contribute towards that initial investment. So there's a lot of spaces that are willing to work with you, willing to meet you where you are, like Lon spoke to, having that solid credit score. Making sure you have, some portion of savings. I think that was my biggest thing when I started working in mortgage and looking at things. I said, okay, well, let me start saving significantly because there's a investment that you will be making. Investment of moving. There will now be different responsibilities that you have. So it is, something that is different than your apartment where you can always like, easily transition it to just put in the maintenance request, do things like that. Like,
You're getting ahead of yourself.
well, you said the preparation. I'm sorry. So preparation for me was a mental thing because I had to start anticipating all of the things I would take on and thinking about how much I would need to save not only for mortgage, but for all of those expenses that would be allocated. Because, I'm a planner, so I'm a look.
Yeah, I know, but that's going into the next topic. But okay, preparation for me, or preparation for you, I will say the main thing is definitely work on the credit. I think the credit is the easier thing to do than the amount of saving for me anyway. I don't know about you. So pretty much what I did, I know they have all these credit programs, get your credit right. I think you can do it yourself, to be real. But if your credit's screwed up, you might need help. But I think for me, I was able to basically get a credit card. All I do is have like an automatic payment on there. So I have, so the way I have it, let's say I have my Netflix bill on my credit card and then it's automatically paid. So I don't even have to worry about it. So that's something that you're paying on time every single month, and you don't have to worry about any late payments, and you're not spending a bunch of money. So I really probably don't use my credit card like I'm supposed to, but we're not talking about credit here. But just that's kind of like the easy thing. Get the credit right, get the savings. Now into the house, actually, I want to talk about finding the house. So we did make the decision to do a new build. And the reason why we made that decision is because of competition in regular houses. So a regular house, when you buy it, anybody could do the open house, anybody could put their offer in, and it's crazy. With the new build, it's like, this is the price, you have no wiggle room on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that,
And there were a lot of things. So thinking about that transition for me, at least my mental space was, I'm used to being in an apartment. I'm used to having all new appliances, all new things, not having to worry about things getting fixed or breaking. So with new construction, we were able to also have new appliances that were provided. So a lot of things we did not have to come out of pocket. We're not having to worry about how is the HVAC and how soon will we have to replace it. All of these things are brand spanking new. So that saved a lot of, for me at least, anxiety thinking about the cost of our first couple of years in the home while we still navigate what it looks like to switch over from having an apartment to doing things more independently now.
yeah. And the one thing about these new builds, though, is that they build the houses right on top of each other. Like, you don't have no room. I mean, we went in the backyard and we know the person's yard. I'm like, do we have no space? He said, oh, no, they build on top of each other. So you might not have the best space. I'm like, I still kind of want a backyard. So I think that's probably the one downfall for new builds is you're not going to get the big yard that you want if you want a big yard because they build
Well, it
houses right on
depends.
top of each
It
other.
depends because your sister did new construction.
Well,
The house huge, so it depends. It depends
how much money you gonna spend?
how much
We
you
talking
gonna
about the
spend.
first time,
For home buyers. Well, yeah. So it all depends. So just saying, you might could get you some yard, but just know you're gonna get what you are paying for, right?
Yeah, because
With anything,
I feel like we have a
anything.
pretty big backyard, but
Yeah.
that was
This was
because
one of
we
the bigger
was
ones out of the
yeah.
other options we looked at
This
for
was
sure.
actually the biggest one, yeah. Because we was actually looking, and these people are like some of these people that be trying to sell these houses. They're like the used car salesman people.
Yeah.
They trying to get you. I remember. You want to talk? You want to introduce that first place we looked at? That was nuts. So the first place we looked at, not knowing anything, I didn't even know we were buying a house. I just was ready to look. I didn't even know. I was walking into trying to buy a house, but we walked in there. We're sitting down. They're giving us the whole spiel of, oh, you're in this neighborhood, or they're giving us the whole. They're doing a sales job, and I'm sitting here like, man, when am I gonna see the house? I'm just sitting there like, I'm not trying to do all this. I know where I'm at. I can look at GPS. I know there's a Target. They say there's a Target there, Best Buy there. I know that. I have GPS. You don't have to tell me all of that. And then they finally get into, oh, how much income do you make and this and that. And I'm just like, can I see the houses? So then we finally see the houses, and they're sitting there like, all right, this house is gonna be gone tomorrow. Put $1,000 down a hole, and this house is gonna be gone tomorrow. I'm like, why are y'all rushing me to buy a house? Something I'm gonna have to stay in for 30 years? I feel like that was nuts.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, so for perspective, I work in sales. So it was very funny because Alon, I think he had a different perspective. Like he didn't expect to be sold. If I go somewhere with a salesperson, I know the game, right? So like none of this off puts me. I'm gonna hear your pitch. I might steal something from it. If it's good, shoot, I'm gonna let you go ahead and sell me. That's your job. That's what you're getting paid for. Do it good enough. We'll see how it goes. So I was prepared to get sold to. And it's some give and take in that because if I want to get some information about the home, then they are going to want some information from you. So be prepared thinking about like if you're okay with your credit being ran, things like that, because it is going to be helpful even if you do not buy at that moment, but you want to have some understanding because the information and paperwork they gave us was really helpful for us to understand how much you qualify for, all of these things. And it all of a sudden transitioned from just let's look into this to this is something we really can do. It gave us like the on paper facts that if we wanted to buy a home, we could buy a home, and ultimately we did. So it is good, but yeah, I mean they're gonna sell you, baby. It sells.
It
So.
was ridiculous. But I think another thing as well is like location. Like location really matters when it comes to like the price of your house. 'Cause I know one place we was in the hood. And this guy's selling on us on, oh, location. I'm like, I don't want to live in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like location. The hood is gonna be closer to like downtown and the stadiums and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to live there.
It was wild.
It was
It was
wild.
really wild. It was a lot of it's just interesting where houses are built now because there's just a need for more housing. And so Like there's sometimes we're like we're really blessed. We choose this area not only because of having more space in the yard, but we're near a lot of other really nice communities and other spaces. So it's nice. But some things you were like out just in the middle of like the country. There was one that was across from a farm. There was one that was across from like an old burned down house. And I was looking like absolutely not. Not only no, absolutely not. So yeah, it was
At least about to say a bad word. I said, not in this podcast, baby.
no. So yes, certain things you want to know your particulars. That first day I was wore out. Like mentally I was wore out, but it did help us. We like sat down, we ate, we came back, and then we really had to level like what things are really important to us.
But that's actually funny though. So when they have the used car, even though she's on sale, they had the used cars people. What is it called? Used car sale. Yeah, used car salespeople. So the funny thing, I'm not gonna edit out either. That's the funny thing. But the funny thing about it is like even though they had the used car salespeople, like that first house, you were ready. Like you was like, oh my gosh, I love this. You know, I'm ready to put the $1,000 down, and like you was like, I really
that master bedroom was everything, y'all. It was so nice.
I didn't like
it. Was
it.
huge.
I didn't like it because we had like you had like the popcorn ceilings. Like their house was like texturized walls, and I'm like, yo, why would you buy a new house that has textured walls? Like I feel like I'm back in the I guess 80s, 90s, whatever. Like that was ridiculous.
The master suite was phenomenal though. Yep.
I think do we have video of it? Did we
No,
record?
we got rid of everything.
Oh yeah, we delete all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so
it was cool though. It was cool though, but I didn't like the area as much.
Nah, it was far. It was like 40 minutes away from civilization. I'm just like, she was ready too. She's like, come on. I was like, be patient. It's our first one. We're gonna be all right. If it's meant to be, and that's the main thing. You gotta have faith. If it's meant to be, it will be. They're telling us this house gonna be gone by the weekend. Just put $1,000 down. I'm like, I don't want to just put $1,000 down because that don't make no sense. So I said, if it's our house, we can go around and come back. It's gonna be available for us. And it wasn't our house. We never went back. The lady, I think she ended up texting us.
Yeah,
we've been in this house for like 3 months already.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll get you. I mean, like for me, that was one of my huge things. Like I love a good master suite. So yeah, it was funny. We definitely figured out quickly what was important to each other, and then like had to choose what had enough balance of what was important to both of us, and also have the trajectory. So something else you have to think about is this our forever home? Is this like for short term and it's gonna carry us through a season? Because I think that helped us too, because we could leverage like, okay, I'll compromise on this because it's for this season, right? So I'm not going to stress about not having this amenity because we'll still have this support. It'll make it a very value to sell. And again, his sister being in real estate was able to give us that perspective too, so that we were thinking about in the long term, again, the equity and growth of value of this home. So
yeah, I like how you said that because you got to realize we're basically talking to people that's first time. I'm pretty sure the audience of this is going to be first time home buyers. So you're not going to get everything in that first house unless you balling. Unless you balling, get everything. But you're not going to get everything, and you just kind of got to know what you're willing to give up. What is the non-negotiables? Like I said, I want a backyard because I want a backyard. I don't want to be walking in the back and then I'm in my next door neighbor's front yard. That's ridiculous. Well, I guess we the backyard, right? Whatever. I don't want to be walking back there and I'm in the people's yard. So I said I needed a backyard, even though we don't got a fence yet. We don't get one. But I said I needed a backyard. She needed a big closet. So it was certain things that we said we needed, and we ended up getting it. I think I'm still farther than I would like to from work, but I said it is what it is because I would rather have that big backyard than being close to work because I ain't gonna work there forever. So be close to work for what,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, but it definitely helps you put things in perspective. So yeah, once we landed on where we wanted to go, it was the really cool part of actually being a part of that construction. So another reason I thought it was cool doing new construction is that you're the first person in this home. Like you're seeing every single piece of your home. We're choosing our flooring and our finishes, and so it was cool. We got to have a lot of input around what this house would look like. We got to put scriptures and just the promises of God in the foundation of this home, and that was, I think, one of the most beautiful things for me. Like I think any home I do going forward now, like I think I want it to be a new build, new construction, just because that's a cool process to do. It's just so fire.
Yeah, it was definitely amazing picking all the stuff we wanted. Even then, that was a sales job too, because we definitely wasn't it a granite in the bathroom. We ended up getting white or something like that. something like
I was
that.
supposed to get marble, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, and so you're all excited about the process. You're doing the little walkthrough, and they're like, "Oh, that's not fun. That's no problem. Oh, that's no problem." I'm just like, I think everything was a sales job. So you gotta be careful as well. Even though you're excited, make sure you laser focus. These people are not your friends. They're here to sell you. Okay, so make sure y'all laser focus when y'all walking through. But yeah, it was definitely a great experience. We had to pick our lot, so we got to pick where we wanted our house to be. I wanted the house to be somewhere else, and good thing we didn't because that house is having construction next to it forever. I don't know why, but they just have construction. So I'm happy that I was listening to my wife because if we didn't, she would have been pissed at me that we next to this construction. I mean, they're loud. I'm like, why? What are they doing? Like, it's just, yeah. So
And it's like right by the road, and they're doing construction there. And it's like a weird dip in the, I don't know. It's
I
just like
wanted
a
that. I was
weird
like,
area of the neighborhood. So
yeah, because I wanted, so basically where that was, it's kind of like in the little cut, and I'm like, I like being in the cut. I don't mind talking to people, but I don't mind. I like being in the cut. So I was like, oh, that's good, but she don't want to be in the cut like that. So we made a good decision. I mean, we
all
made
our
a good
neighbors
decision.
are awesome.
All I
And
made,
anyway, all our neighbors are awesome. We like this
nah,
area that we're at.
stay on the bill before we move too far. So we was able to do the scriptures in here, which was a cool experience. So you basically, when you're doing a new build, you're at like, you come to the house like 3 different levels. So they have the first level where it's just dirt, and we were just walking. Like, talk about that experience of just like, and also like how you knew this lot was ours.
So that was really, really the Holy Spirit. We came to this area again. I really loved the one master suite area. I liked it a lot. And I don't even know if this one was your favorite. Because the lots all like the ones that I think we would have chose like coming off bat were already taken. And then we were looking at like when we wanted the house to be done based on the fact of when leases would end and things. And so it was a lot of moving factors. So we looked at this home and I liked this home, but I wasn't immediately sold. And once we started looking at the lots, and I was like, yeah, because he liked a lot in the area that I was like, I just knew, like, without even seeing it in fruition, I knew it wasn't going to be desirable. And so I was like, I'm not doing that a lot. And so we again like just went home, reconvened, ate food, chilled, went back to our own spaces, sort of had time to digress. And we were like, well, let's go back. Let's go back to the top ones after we sat with it that had enough of things that we both cared about. And this time when we went back, I just felt just a peace. I felt a peace, and there's always like one thing that I see when I'm like, okay, God, like if I see this thing, then I know you're here. And so we were walking the lot, and I looked up and I saw what what that sign is. I have just sometimes you have just like a sign that you ask God to give you, and it's like, Lord, I need to know what that is. And so I'm not going to tell y'all because it's my sign from the Lord. But when I saw that, I immediately felt peace. And I was like, I think I like this lot. Let's look at this one. So we started talking to the gentleman about that lot.
Shout out to Greg. He was
Shout
cool.
out to Greg.
Even though
Greg was really nice.
They salespeople, but he was cool. He was really
Yeah.
cool. He was probably the one cool person, but good.
When we came back and he was gone.
Oh my gosh. And that's the thing as well. Like these new builds, like they have the people in the, what's that house called? The model home.
Yeah.
So they be swapping them out. Cause we even talked to a neighbor and he talked to somebody else than we talked to. It's crazy. So they did.
They don't know who they get their sale and they did, baby.
They out of there.
Okay.
But
I respect it though.
Good.
But yeah, so yeah, when we came around that second time and we looked at this area and we looked at the yard, and again we had really come into alignment of like what's most important, then it felt different, and we were thinking about the value. This house had the most rooms, most bathrooms, like thinking about the sales value later of the home, thinking about if we were in this house longer than we anticipated, would we be able to stay here and be comfortable? So
house is huge. We got an inside pool and an outside pool.
we have plenty of space for what we need, and to start growing family and things we want to do in this home comfortably. So at that point, I was like, okay, I feel more peace about this decision. So yeah, that was me. Yeah, what was it like for you as far as, because I know like I felt that peace. How did you know like, okay, I feel like this is it?
That's a good question. I think it's when we looked, so because we recorded everything, so we got footage. We're gonna be throwing a bunch of clips throughout this podcast. But we have so much footage, and we're just looking at the different houses, just thinking about, like I said, the things that we want the most. Because I think my main thing at first was like, I don't want to drive that far from work. I think during traffic, it's like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. That's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
But we're not going to be negative here. We positive.
I mean, there were
But
no houses that were close to you, so that also
they
sort of
did.
ruled it out.
They did. The one next to the abandoned place, which is kind of, I'm saying, we're not like we wanted to
Oh,
live there, but that was
oh,
the
oh. That was
closest
the
one.
only one. And we
That was
didn't
the
really even
closest
like that
one.
house that
Yeah, I
much.
wasn't in love with that one. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you kind of like look at, you know, what you really wanted. So like I said, we saw the backyard. And it was like, man, it's a really good backyard. Because I don't even think we even walked this lot first. I think we just walking around. We didn't even walk this lot first. When we actually saw, we thought, oh, we got a really good backyard. I think it's like one of the biggest backyards. I think our next door neighbor might have a bigger backyard than we do. But yeah, it was great. I mean, that was good. Area was pretty good. It was close to a bunch of stuff. You got a chick. You know, when you're next to a Chick-fil-A, you in a good spot.
Harris
So
Teeter, same
Harris
thing.
Teeter, like you know what, you know
We're
you
on
in
the
a
up
good.
and up. It's on
You
the up and
know,
up.
if you're next to a Food Line or Walmart, you in trouble. So, but yeah, I was just like, this is good. So I end up, you know, having this spot, and then once it was hours, like we were walking in the mud. Like that was kind of a crazy thing. Like that's how excited we were. We had bags on our feet, walking around the mud because it was like we're just so excited. Like this is ours. Like
Yeah, just walking over the whole area. And then, like, it was crazy because every time we came back, there was not only a piece of our house being developed, but the houses around us. Like, you started seeing things coming up quickly.
quick, yeah,
Oh my gosh. The speed of it was just, it was wild. Which, random thing, we got our own personal inspector to do an inspection for our home, and not the one that came through the home,
people,
like,
whatever,
yeah,
yeah,
I can't think of the name, but just because, I mean, they are building new construction pretty quickly, so make sure you do all of your due diligence when it comes to making sure everything is cleared and taken care of, because again, they are building these quickly, and it's cool to see, but then it's like, dang, how quickly
yeah.
y'all building this stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's just want to remind y'all. Don't get too excited. Don't get too. I know it's an exciting experience, but don't be so excited that you miss certain things. Like after we actually moved in, I remember behind the door is a bolt missing. I'm like, their inspectors missed it. Our inspectors missed it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to still make sure you look around. Don't get, like I said, don't get too comfortable. Like these people are selling you stuff.
and I mean, have a good relationship. I will say the gentleman that we work with, he was like, the first 2 months, he gave us his personal number. He said, if you need anything, if you see anything missing, like just contact me. And we did. We had a couple
Yeah,
of things that we needed, like Lon said, that were missing here and there, and we contacted him, and he was helpful. So do try to build a rapport. I mean, salespeople are salespeople, but I mean, we not human. We just humans that want a bag. So
true.
he was helpful. He did make sure we got the things we needed while we were getting settled. So
Yep. And so what I want to move into next is the next level of building. So we was in the dirt, and then once they started building
got
up,
it
I
out the
want to
mud,
basically.
out the clay.
That's another story. But we're gonna talk about getting it out the mud, and now we're talking about actually building it up from the studs and the walls. Talk about that experience, even actually seeing that, because I was excited to see that. How did you feel?
It was just really neat. Like, I think even we were watching back clips before we recorded this, like getting back in that mind space to record. And it's just so wild. Like, I look around at our home, and it's so wild to see everything it came from. And a lot of the scriptures, like, we wrote down. And so it was funny because our sisters, your sister, our sister, my sister, our sister,
I don't
like,
know who she talking about right now, because you just.
because I'm not gonna say your sister because she my sister too now. So it's like, but like, and I'm not gonna name drop because it's like y'all need to know our sisters' names. But
Well, if it's
shared
Emerald, we
people.
really talked about Emerald already.
Well,
'Cause-
dang, my sister, she ain't signed no NDA for me to put her business in the street. Anyway, everybody was sending me the Pinterest and Instagram videos of people writing scriptures in the foundations of their home, and so I was like, okay, like all these people sending it to me. I already thought it was cool, and I'd already pinned it on my Pinterest board because I had been so thinking about planning. We're watching everything go up, and it's like we're in a, I think maybe 6-7 month period before we moved into the house that they're constructing it. I was already in my Pinterest boards making vision boards of everything. I mean, like, I love to design, so I was just in the thick of it. But that was one of the first things that I saw was writing that out. And so we spent time like just talking about different scriptures and things we wanted in different places of the home to be foundational. So it was cool just going through that process. And it was hot that day. It was so
Mm,
hot. It's so funny. It's just like random things you remember.
yeah.
We had just got back from our trip to Belize,
Oh, we were
and
brown. No, we were black. Black. Well, brown, not black. We were going like, we were dark brown. Here you go.
it was hot outside, honey. So it was funny because I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, okay, I'm just being a moment. I'm gonna just write it out. And Jelan was like, no, like we gotta record. I'm glad he did. I have to. There's some times where I'll be like, sir, you can get the camera off, face. But,
Yeah.
but
I think
I'm
that's,
glad he recorded it because it's so cool to have now.
Doing, we are writing in the house. We're writing scriptures in the house. This is the only time we can do it because after this, the house can be built up. So we're so excited. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
She's so excited. So we have a list of scriptures and we're going to go ham in this house. No, we don't go ham, right? We don't go ham in this house.
We're gonna go Holy Ghost in this house.
We're going to go.
So we are in the foundation of our home, and foundation is one of the most important pieces when thinking about a good structure, when thinking about the longevity of something. So we are making sure that our structure of the home is founded in the Word of God, so that we're blessed, and then any other families that will live here will be blessed as well.
Luke 10:5. When you enter a house, first say peace to this house.
yeah. No, I think it's just cool, like the dynamic of like relationships because like it's honestly opposites attract. Like even though we have so much things that are similar, like she don't want to record everything. She don't want to tell everybody, her business. I'm gonna be surprised she's on the podcast because at one point I didn't think she was gonna be on. I didn't think people gonna know I'm married, but they ain't gonna never see her. But she don't mind being on it. But she's definitely more low key than I am. But so it's definitely kind of funny. So we're gonna throw the clips in here, but it's definitely kind of funny. Like she's like, I'm in the moment. I don't want to record it. Now she's enjoying the moment that we had before. And I'm like, I told you, but it is what it is. But yeah, we was here every weekend basically.
Basically,
Like that
yeah.
was crazy. I just remember like I said, finding the scriptures, writing them on, trying to like write them on the woods. Like I seen all them pictures. Like it looked so cool, like you writing all the scriptures, but we didn't go crazy like them videos because writing on them was kind of hard. Like actually using a marker, like after you do like 3 walls, the marker's dried out. So I don't know how people have every single wall written because it was a lot, but it was definitely a great experience.
It was. It was really cool. It was really cool. And I think like in that moment, that's when everything really like launched for me thinking about design because we went through the process of moving. I think we spoke a
Oh
little
my
bit
gosh, we
to
gotta talk
moving,
about
but
the couch situation too. I'm sorry, I don't know if he was
what
going there.
about the couch?
Trying to find the couch.
You mean trying to sell the couch or trying to
Trying
find
to
it?
find the couch.
Well, I feel like when we finish buying the couch, then we should
Then
talk
we can talk about the
about
couch. Listen,
because that's been a whole
but go ahead. You said
yes.
design the house. I'm sorry.
But no, yeah. So, just getting everything moved in and settled. But yeah, I mean, it was trying to figure out, do we want to buy things beforehand? Do we want to move in with old things? Do we want to try to have new things? I'm already looking at Amazon and home decor and videos. And so again, if I guess we think about that dynamics of how we are similar, but also move very different. Like Lon is very much like, hey, we'll figure it out when we get there. And I'm like, I already have plan A through Z in place for week 1. So I'm not sure what you mean. But
Listen, my mindset is we just put a lot down on the house. We got to know mortgages coming up soon. We lived in apartments with the stuff we have. Just use the stuff we have. That's my mind. Like we're still using our couch, like my couch. She got rid of her couch. What weeks before we moved?
we just gonna have 2 couches? What are we gonna do with 2 couches?
You can have 2 couches. We can have one on one side, one on the other side.
Chad, we need the other couch. Yes, I absolutely did. And I mean, to my credit,
It looks beautiful in
house
there.
is, yes, it's
looks
a
beautiful.
vibe.
Yeah.
But it was funny though. We were watching old clips back, not only of the construction, but like we moved in October. I was looking at clips like barely a month later, and we already had put like handles on the cabinets. We were putting pendant lights. So I was putting backsplash. I mean, baby girl was working. Okay, you feel me? And I mean, it's giving. Okay, it's what's them. just a little home. Architectural Digest, yes, maybe it is. So yes, I was so excited. I would, like I said, it's funny because he's like, hey, we got all this time. You gave me 6 months to be stacking. I didn't buy anything for the house, believe it or not, those whole 6 months. And I was just sitting here stacking up coins. I said, as soon as my feet touch this house, Amazon is about to love me. They about to think I'm trying to be an affiliate, which I really should be. But
Oh my
I was getting
gosh.
everything.
Boxes coming I mean, when I seen the boxes on the porch, I said, there's no way this is our stuff. I mean, it was, at one point, it was like up to my shoulders of boxes just sitting on and I'm not even over exaggerating either. I said, this is crazy.
We had to put our recyclable boxes in our neighbors.
Yeah,
because
that
I
was,
was ordering so
yeah,
much
she was
stuff.
ordering. I was in there, I was outside stuffing, stuffing the recyclable bin. And the guy's like, hey, you can put it in mine, this is all right. I was struggling. I had the box cutter cutting up boxes and stuff like that. And I was just like, I can't do it, but it's
It's
beautiful.
been so much fun though.
Yeah.
And there's still so many things I still want to do too in the house. So it's wild. It's like I'm looking like, wow, like we hit just a little over that, into 7 months over that 6 month mark. And I'm like, all right, because I coasted because we got everything situated for the wedding. But I'm about to get back. I'm about to get right back to it. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm so
I'm
excited.
not. My one thing I'm supposed to do is I got a gym that I'm supposed to finish up. I did the flooring and that's it. My office is like white walls. Like I didn't do anything yet. I don't know. I'm just so busy. I'm not really. I guess I'm not busy. I didn't put that first. You can't always say you're busy. That's not like on my to-do list. It is on my to-do list, but it's not first. Like recording this is more important than fixing that office for me anyway. I enjoyed these. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I think by year 2 we'll be all right.
Yeah. Definitely, at least by year 4 for sure. Lawn's going so office decorated.
But also thinking about the things you were putting in the house, because our mindset is this is our first house and we're going to go into the second one. I also like how when you decorated it to a point where it adds like selling features to it. So like these handles, I don't know if y'all can really see the handles good, but we're gonna have clips in the video. If y'all watching the audio, if y'all only listening, y'all gotta watch the audio on YouTube. Y'all gotta check it out. But like the handles, they make it look so much better in here. Like it adds the gold and it ties in with so much stuff. And it's listen. If y'all not cool with me right now, y'all might want to get cool with me so y'all can see the house, because that's the only way y'all gonna see it. But it definitely looks beautiful in there. And everything that she added, I feel like adds value to it. It's just not random nonsense that somebody doesn't look at it and be like, wow, this is an amazing house. So.
Yeah, and it feels so intimate to us. I remember I was watching architectural digest videos and just seeing all the cool, very intimate pieces that people put in their home. And so, like, I thought about it with our gallery wall. We put the clip in the gallery wall.
You want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we did a custom photo.
See what happens when people start doing extra. Now she wants to add extra clips in the podcast. This ain't supposed to be no extra clips. This is a regular podcast. Let's add some gallery wall. Let's do
I'm
this.
about to start posting. I was waiting until we drop the official things that I'll start posting on my Insta. Some of the designs that we've done, but it's just been really cool. Just the details that make it feel like our space. Even having the wedding here, everyone was like, "Oh wow, like this is just such a cool space." So that was really cool for me, just for everybody else to really resonate with the things that I had done to really make our house feel like a home.
Mm-hmm.
So
Need some more, baby?
yeah.
You out here talking. Baby, they can see you on camera. Baby. See, I'm a good husband. I asked her ahead of time, you want some water? No, I don't want no water. Now she out here. Horse.
Go ahead.
Oh my
Drinking
gosh. I
some
don't know
water.
what we talking about. Oh, okay. So now we want to talk about, we're done with the design. We're done with all that. We're talking about actually being in the house. It's going to be in the shop.
Oh, sorry. This was nice glasses, crepe mirror. Anyway.
Oh, talk about that. She wants to throw away all my stuff. How about that? That's the thing.
We're not supposed to be telling our business. We are
Okay,
inspiring people
I'm
to buy a house.
I'm sorry. I love listen, it's I think what it is that when you're a single man, you're more of a bachelor, and the stuff you buy is more like for the bachelor. So now when you become a relationship, you become one with someone else, you kind of got to get rid of that bachelor stuff. So it's cool, but it's definitely, getting used to. So we not only talk about getting a house, but also if you're talking about moving in with your wife or your husband, just know that. Well, actually, the wife's gonna do whatever they want to do. If you're the husband moving in with your wife, just know you're gonna have to get rid of some of that bachelor stuff because it's gonna make it better. Like some of the stuff she threw away, yes, I kind of hurt, but then now it's like the stuff she picked out looks way better. So I trust my wife, so I'm fine. But yeah, we done on that. So yeah, so actually living here, I think the crazy thing about, especially being in a new build, the salespeople, not only the salespeople in the beginning of the process, now having the house, these people are ring the doorbell down. I remember we was actually doing a walkthrough. We weren't even actually officially in the house. Somebody's ringing the doorbell trying to sell us some extra concrete. I'm like, yo, we're not even here yet. And they just they like dogs. So
And if they're not at your door, they send you mail trying to scam you about warranties and stuff that you need. So it's a lot of things to be be
yeah.
mindful of when you first, because now you are publicly listed as a homeowner, and they gonna be all up in your face, all up in your space, riding around on them little solar, them little things, the
Not
polios.
moped, but it's pretty close. Pretty close to moped.
Yeah, it's trying to sell you stuff, honey. So we had to get that security system in place because I needed to look out that camera because I needed to see who's at my door and respectfully ignore it. So
Yeah. Dak, I want to go two different places. So talk about that as well then, since we are moving in now. So we can kind of talk about the salespeople, but also like the difference of being in an apartment versus a house. You wanna
I
start?
mean, you can start.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, being in a house instead of apartment is like I have to be the man of the house. Like you could be a man of an apartment, but like let's say the light bulb goes out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a light bulb. I didn't know you could just put a maintenance request and they could change the light bulb. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't have to do nothing. But here, anything goes wrong, like I gotta fix it. I remember when we first moved here, it was like a bunch of bugs on the side of the house, and I'm just like, who do I call? I don't call nobody. It's me. Like I gotta figure it out. So I think that's the big difference of if anything breaks or even think about mounting the TV or any little thing you're thinking of, like you kind of gotta handle it as the homeowner. So
Yeah. I mean, I would say we had a pretty easy transition. The biggest difference that I would say we have has been the lawn care.
oh my gosh.
Because everything decor wise was easy. Again, all of our appliances were new, so that's easy. Everything's new construction, so it's all brand new stuff. Even if I wouldn't have started updating things, that was easy. But I don't have a green thumb, y'all. We have a snake plant that is hanging on by the grace of Jesus. I'm not a gardener.
Our snake plant is doing good.
Yeah, I just had to cut off some leaves because he was struggling. So I just, that piece, grass, yard, weeds, I was looking like, babe. Babe was looking at me like,
Yeah, the yard is. The yard is. We working on it. We got somebody to cut it because I've actually never cut grass in my life.
and
Ever.
wanted this backyard.
Yeah, I went in the backyard. I've never cut grass in my life. Like my dad, because I think living in New York, like my dad didn't do any of that stuff because he lived in New York. So everybody in the South, like their grandparents, everybody cutting grass, they never had to do that. So when we moved from New York, like at first we had somebody cutting our grass and my dad bought a lawnmower to cut the grass and I'm like, I'm not going outside in the heat. This is not something that everybody did. So like my dad had to learn how to cut grass. He knows I cut grass now, but I wasn't trying to do none of that stuff. So now I have the house. Now I kind of have to do it, or I keep paying this guy all this money to cut the grass. But it's something I never did. So trying to not even just cut grass, like every second you see weeds popping up, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot to it. But we gonna get it.
Yeah. But I would say that's been the only thing that's been like a learning curve on. But even then, it's like understanding sort of budget for what you want to delegate, because that's something I'm very much like, we'll delegate. It's funny because, I grew up, like you say, in the South in the country. I was on my daddy's lap. We was on the riding lawnmower. So it's like, I know how to cut grass, but it's like,
You know how to cut grass?
I'm not getting up to cut no grass.
You know how to cut grass though?
I knew how to do it on the riding lawnmower. I don't mess with the push.
I'm
What I
about
look
to
like?
say, because if she know how to cut grass, she cut the grass. I cut the grass.
Go ahead, zoom in on my face. I'm not cutting that. Not even one. One. Okay. shred the grass. But yeah, so I mean, I have no interest in doing it. So I was like, we'll delegate it. We'll have somebody to come and do all the things. But it's funny because I watched my parents do all of those things. So part of me feels like slightly guilty because we were talking to them earlier. Mom was like, oh yeah, you just put these down and do this and do that. They would spend hours out there. I'm spending hours outside.
Yeah, I can't see myself spending hours doing any of that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, yeah, everything else is good, especially new build. I think it's if you don't have a new build, I think that's when it's a lot. Like one of my friends, I talked about it before in the podcast. He bought a house the week after he was into, not even, I think probably the day or like the day after he moved in, the HVAC went out. And like after they bought the house, and HVAC is like, well, at least 10,000. It's crazy. So we're definitely blessed to have this and only have problems with the yard is no problem.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. When it gets cute, we'll keep y'all updated. But in the meantime, we gonna be inside.
Yeah, let's move now to the neighbors. Like, what do you think about having neighbors? I think that's a big difference with an apartment and a house because in an apartment you don't see nobody because they're running into their place and locking the door. Like, you might see them walking, but here's in the house, they might be in the front yard, they might be in the car, so you kind of see your neighbors a lot more.
It's funny because being in an apartment, like my least favorite part probably was neighbors because you had people that were smoking, people being loud, people yelling at their kids. Like you heard everything, always heard everything. I had one neighbor friend the whole stint of time that I lived in the apartment. So I was really excited, like I guess to have neighbors here because it's like worst case scenario, whatever they do, they doing away from me. So honestly, I don't care. But everybody has been awesome. Everybody's nice. Everybody don't bother us. Even the one neighbor that doesn't bother us, that is like, oh, they're not that friendly. That's okay. Just don't bother me. So I'm not upset. You know what I'm saying? You're not making no noise. You're not leaving dog poo in our yard. Your kids ain't running. Well, somebody's kids was
Oh my
running in our
gosh.
backyard, but they was okay. They ain't messing up. So I'm fine, But it was funny because your parents were like, oh, y'all gonna make friends or we gonna walk around. It's getting warmer outside. So I feel like we slowly but surely have started interacting a little more. But I think it's so different. Like my parents, like all the neighbors they had, people moved into those homes. They stayed there for 20 years until like many of them passed away. And now different people are moving into those homes. And it's weird because they lived there like majority of their lives. And, we don't, that's not our plan. But we just want to be cool enough with everybody while we're here, be respectful neighbors. So yeah, everybody to me is copacetic. I love it.
Yeah. No, everybody that I've met so far, it's been cool, except that one neighbor. I don't know what's up with him, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But yeah, everybody that I met so far is cool, but I really haven't met anybody other than like our little surroundings. I think it's like walking past people's house. I try to say hey, and they don't really say nothing to me.
Yeah, nobody bother nobody. Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing too. Like, I'm an introvert, so to me, like, not bothering me is being friendly. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I want, you don't have to. Hey, how ya? You ain't gotta do none of that, okay? You look at me, I look at you. Friends. Oh my gosh. Peacefulness. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not bothering me. You're not telling me to get off your yard and nothing like, it's nothing like that. So
I think it's different for guys though. Like the way guys become friends is like I think about, let's say I go to the gym, right, and I see somebody every day and I'm what's up. After a while, we're gonna have a conversation. Like I think I'm not a woman, but I don't know if y'all make friends that easily, or do y'all?
I mean, I wasn't trying to make friends with my neighbors, respectively.
Well, I don't mind actually.
Jelan has been doing all of the social activity on
Yeah.
behalf of both of us, and I appreciate that so much. Like all of our neighbor friends that we have that are nice and that have helped us do stuff, it's because Jelan is friends with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah,
and I'm
'cause-
perfectly polite with them. But like, I don't.
Yeah, because one of my neighbors, I don't know if he wants his name out there, but he cut my hair. We moved the couch in the garage for the wedding. He's able to help me bring it back in the house. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think he's
I'm
gonna
not
be.
against becoming friends. Just in case they watch this. Like I'm not. I don't. But if we not, that's okay too. But he has been very nice. So it's like, yeah, there are people that can be very nice, but as long as you're not bothering me, then to me that's being nice.
All right, yeah, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it with the neighbors. Is that it's gonna, you might find people that's cool that can end up being like, cool for a long time, and then some people is just
And it's still early because we moved into the fall, so it became winter pretty quickly. It's just now warming up. So we're sort of getting more into like spring. People are walking, people are having barbecues. So, a year from now, I might really like genuinely have friends that we made, But if
Yeah.
not, that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
But yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun getting to know our neighbors, getting to know our home, getting to know our surrounding, figuring out like new navigation routes and all of those things. So it's an adjustment, but I think it's definitely been valuable. What's your favorite part of being a homeowner?
I think it's just seeing you every day, baby. That's it.
Great answer.
That's it. Yeah, I'll say definitely that. That's really number one. Being able to just build something with you, I think that's amazing. What's my number two? I think having my own office. I think that's different. That's different. When I was in the apartment, everything was in the living room, so I was just like, my living room was my office. I think it's kind of cool to have like cut off and be in my own spot. Even thinking about, let's say you do have friends over here and y'all down here taking up the kitchen and all that. I don't want to be down here. I might still talk, but I don't want to be down here with y'all. I have my own space to kind of get away, or vice versa. You kind of have your own space to kind of get away, which is not the bedroom or something. So I think having that office is cool. And I got a gym too. I haven't been in the gym in a minute, guys, but have a gym and an office. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree. It was funny. We were listening to like playlists. If you listen to the last episode about the wedding with us, and there's this one song, "Spend My Life with You," and it's like, if it could wake up every morning, getting to look in your eyes, and I remember putting on the playlist, and I was like, yeah, like it is cool. It's just this space where I think everyone, when we moved in, they're like, oh, how is it in this dynamic? Like, because you're so close, and for some people, that change is really hard, but we just really enjoy each other's company. And we also show something where we, like you said, we have spaces creatively. So we can be together, but then we can also just share space and still do things and be close to each other to, share with each other, to laugh with each other, to ask feedback from each other. So it's just been very cool to be in that space, because for my next favorite thing, decorating, it's nice having someone's input. Like before I was just doing things and it was just like, just making those decisions. But now I have somebody to
No.
brainstorm with,
No.
even if I don't,
No.
ultimately go with the decision that was his favorite. I at least got to get, feedback.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nah, yeah. I think that's cool as well, because I'm not, like I said, my office is all white. So it's definitely cool to see the house become a home. And, having, if you have an individual podcast, chairs, you got these lights behind us. Like it's all hers. Definitely not me. I think the only decision I made was what? Yeah.
Ah! You decided on this home.
Yeah.
Was a
Yeah. We decided on
Good
this
job.
one together.
good job, baby.
But basically wrapping it up, just wanted to make this episode just kind of like inspiration, because we always have the podcast talking about inspiration and talk about different things, but I wanted to really talk about something that we actually went through, because a lot of people listening to this might still be in that apartment phase, or might be in their parents phase. That's perfectly fine, but just hearing from somebody that actually went through it and recently went through it, it's not that scary. Definitely the money coming out of your account is scary, but other than that, it's cool.
Yeah, no, it's a fun process. It's an intentional decision. So even if it just sort of catalyst that process of what could that look like, what would it look like for savings, for developing that plan, because anything that feels overwhelming, like just bringing it back into smaller steps, it's attainable. So yeah, we just wanted to talk about our process, and hopefully that sparks some interest, or at least conversation, to really think about what it could look like, because it is just a huge game changer when it comes to just that financial freedom and equity. Of course, there are many ways to do it, but homeownership is just a really powerful tool. So we just wanted to make sure that we shared that, because it's a really, beautiful space that we're in, and we're grateful.
Yeah, and if y'all need a realtor, Abrams, she's the best. Like, we got this house because of her. Like, without her, we'll probably still be in apartments right now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you can wrap it up. It's your job.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. If you're still here, which you should be, because where else would you go? Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment. All right.
Yeah, when y'all comment, also talk about, let's say, what part of the wow, I gotta get the words together. When you also comment, talk about like what part of the journey you're on. If right now you're in an apartment thinking about it, or y'all actually searching, I'll talk about that because you never know what somebody else in the comments can help you out with as well.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until next time, it's your favorite Mr. and Mrs. Abrams, baby. Y'all keep saving. Get that credit score up. Until next time. Be easy. Got it out the clay. Period.
We out.